Hello everyone, let me show you something revolutionary. This was Nikola Corporation's promise, a hydrogen-powered train, moving smoothly and emotion-free. It looked incredible, right? This video generated massive hype and convinced many that the future of the transport was here. But the truth was far less impressive. The truck wasn't powered by its own hydrogen fuel cell. In fact, it had no working technology at all. It was simply rolling down a hill. This wasn't innovation, it was an illusion. So why create such an elaborate deception? The motivation was a dangerous mix of ambition and pressure. Nikola was in a race against giants like Tesla. To compete, they needed two things desperately: inventor funding and industrial partnerships. By creating an illusion of working product, they sparked a media freeze. The stock price soared 18 billions to their market value almost overnight. This was a classic case of fake it till you make it, driven by the desire for success at any cost. But what happens when the illusion shatters? The fraction becomes freed, with very real consequences. The founder went to prison, and the company paid massive fines, and the inventors lost billions. This case shows us how quickly the pursuit of innovation can cross an illegal line. Now let's hand over to Ziqi, who will dive into the concrete facts of how this thread unfolded.
Hi, this is Zichi Wan. Now let me introduce you the Nikola scandal and how those facts have been hidden and how the CEO, the Trevor Milton, have hidden the facts from the public and how to fake the whole news. Okay. Now, the man on the right side is the Trevor Milton. He was the founder of Nikola and the former CEO and executive chairman. And Milton's messaging have created the impression of a near-ready product and a breakthrough pact, which means that the whole lorry, the whole truck, can be moderated by the electricity. And those products haven't achieved the commercial level. Well, he has made a very famous example that he have picked up a downhill and use a non-power demo and cut as a emotion. He also framed the sourced or unvalidated components as Nikola's own breakthroughs and implied a hydrogen network was around the corner. And crucially, these claims weren't backed by the independent testing or auditable data, and investor communication have skipped the key caveats. Okay. And we can see this video. It is the video news at the moment to show how his product has been improved and how can those whole lorry be moderated by the electricity. Well, it's actually a fake video. It's just turn over the camera on a downhill road that lets the whole prototype naturally falling out. Well, it's actually doesn't have a real driven by the electricity. So it's a scandal and it's actually a cheating on the business. Yes, we can see this video make a pretty good, and it's definitely a cheating to the public. Okay. Yes. And once those investigators have dug into the missing verifiable data, those stories have just flipped out. It's a staged demo and no real hydrogen backbone, and there is non-binding orders. The fallout was severe as SEC settlements. And those criminal conviction of the founder, steep market and partnership losses, and lasting reputational damage. The lesson was that if a claim isn't backed by the auditable third-party verifiable data, its marketing has no evidence. And we can see that it has created a huge damage to the marketing. As a result, all of those new corporations have to really serious about their new product and their marketing strategies. Yes, and this is the facts of the scandal and the general consequences. And this is all about my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Lichi. Thank you. So now let's take a closer look at the ethical analysis behind the Nikola case. I'll structure my analysis into 4 parts: the ethical frameworks, the corporate governance, the stakeholder theory, and the regulatory implications. And first, let's take a look at business ethics. From a business ethics perspective, Nikola's actions represent clear intentional deception. According to deontological ethics, companies have a moral duty to tell the truth, regardless of outcomes. By sticking the Nikola One emotion with you and overscaling the proprietary technologies, Trevor Melton violated the duty of honesty and transparency. From a utilitarian perspective, these actions also produced significant harm. Investors lost billions. Partners withdrew, and public trust in green technologies was damaged. The harm far outweighed any short-term benefits of hyping the company's image. And let's move on to corporate governance. Ethically sound companies rely on strong internal governance. However, Nikola lacked this. There was no independent technical validation before public claims, and internal checks were weak, allowing the founder to donate communications, and the culture prioritized media attention and stock performance over ethical responsibility. This reflects a breakdown in organizational ethics and a failure of board oversight. Okay, let's talk about something about stakeholder theory. When we're using Freeman's stakeholder theory, Nikola had clear ethical obligations to different groups. The first group is the investors who based capital decisions on the company claims, and the strategic partners who collaborated based on promised technology. And the last group is the public who trusted the narrative of sustainable transport. So by hiding critical facts, Nikola breached both fiduciary and moral duties to all these groups. And the last part was about something about regularity. This case showed that market forces alone cannot ensure ethical conduct. Nikola's stock sorted on hype, not performance. Only the regulatory intervention, SEC investigations, settlements, and criminal prosecution brought accountability. And this highlights the importance of internal oversight mechanisms like regulation, audits, and the whistleblower protection alongside internal governance. And let's wrap up. Nikola's case wasn't just about one misleading video, it was about systemic ethical failures, from individual deception to corporate governance breakdown, stakeholder harm, and delayed regulatory responses. For us, future business leaders, this case is a powerful reminder that transparency, ethical leadership, and robust governance are not just legal requirements. They are fundamental to building sustainable trust in business. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. This is Darren Liu. Before I dive into the lessons and conclusion of the Nikola's case, I want to briefly tie back to what my teammates shared earlier. We talked about how Nikola's founder, Trevor Milton, built an illusion of innovation, how the moving truck video was staged, it was just rolled down a hill, no hydrogen fuel cell at all, and how this fraud eventually led to his 4-year prison sentence and the $1.25 billion SEC settlement. Today, I'll expand on what this case really teaches us, not just about business, but about integrity in every field, including our own academic work. Let's start with the first and most critical lesson. Technological integrity is the lifeline of innovation, and PPT innovation is a ticking time bomb. When Nicholas first promoted its hydrogen trucks around 2018, it didn't just lie about the demo video. It filled its investors' presentations with unproven claims. It promised 700-mile driving ranges, 1,200 hydrogen refueling stations by 2028, and partnerships that didn't actually exist. This is what we mean by PPT innovation, using flashy slides and bold promises to replace real tested technology. By 2020, when Hindenburg Research exposed the fraud, investors had already poured billions into the companies, but once the truth came out, the consequence hit hard. As we saw in the data, by Q3 2024, Nicholas lost $228,000 on every truck it tried to build, totaling $1.2 billion in losses. For us, this is exactly like faking lab data in a research paper. You might get prize or funding at first, but eventually the lack of real pro evidence will make everything fall apart. Academic integrity isn't just a rule, it's how we make sure our work actually matters. Just like technological integrity is how companies build something they lost. The second lesson is about systems, not just individuals. Regulations must adapt to technological evolution, or Lufus will let fraud thrive. Let's talk about how Nicholas even got to lie to so many people. He used an SPAC, Special Purpose Acquisition Company, to go public. Back in 2020, SPAC were booming because they let companies skip the 6-month review process of a traditional IPO. Nicholas merged with the SPAC called Vector IQ, and in just 2 months, it was listed on the stock market. No one forced it to prove its hydrogen technology worked. No one checked if its refueling station promise were real. It wasn't just Nicholas' fault, it was a gap in the rules. It wasn't until 2022 that the SEC stepped in with new regulations, making SPAC disclose all unverified technology claims. But by then, the damage was done. For our academic lives, this is a reminder that rule matters too. When new research methods like AI-generated data or virtual experiments emerged, our academic standards need to update too. We can't use our rules to judge new work, just like regulators couldn't use our IPO rules to judge SPACs. If we don't adapt, our risk letting lazy or dishonest work slip through the cracks. The third lesson is the most far-reaching. The cause of Charles' collapse is irreversible and it hurts everyone, not just the liar. When Nicholas' fraud was exposed, it didn't just ruin its own company, the entire hydrogen energy sector suffered. In 2020, funding for hydrogen startups dropped 50% from $8.2 billion to $4.1 billion. Because investors were scared to put money into any hydrogen company, even the honest ones. Small startups that had real technology couldn't get funding. 3 of them filed for bankruptcy and 12 more barely survived. It took until 2024 for funding to rebound to $7.9 billion, and that's only because companies spent years proving their tech was real. This is exactly how academic misconduct hurts the whole field. If one student fakes a study on a new drug, it makes other researchers work harder, funders get skeptical, and even real breakthroughs might be ignored. Trust is a shared resource, whether in business or academia. Once you break it, everyone pays the price. So, what's the final conclusion here? It's simple. Integrity is the only real mode for innovation. Nikola failed because it chose lies over evidence, shortcuts over hard work. By contrast, think about BYD. They spent 50 years researching batteries, filed 10,000 plus patents, and proved their technology worked before scaling up. That's why they're successful. For us, this means something concrete. When we write a paper, we don't fridge data. When we present a project, we don't overstate our results. When we work in groups, we don't take credit for work we didn't do. Academic integrity isn't about avoiding punishment. It's about building work that we are proud of, work that actually contributes to our field. The Nikola case is a story of failure, but it's also a lesson for all of us. Whether we are building trucks or building knowledge, the only way to succeed is to building on trust. Thank you.